What's up, gang gang? So I'm rewatching this on Netflix right now. Yep, that thing. And honestly, season one is the best one. Gotta make time for lag. I learned there's lag between switching cameras. Um, yeah, so I thought about it. Got some schmutz. And then watched some people's very thoughtful criticisms. I'll put it like that. And now I'm rewatching some of my favorite episodes because, it's not all bad. Some of it's funny. I laughed. I thought there were cool scenes, and also I'm not gonna pass up the chance on the Catboy because Catboys are rare. And a lot of the criticisms that I observed came from people not liking particular character aspects and some stuff from very specific things from certain episodes that people wish had been expanded on because there was a lot of opening for some nuanced things. And I hear those criticisms, they are super valid. There were a lot of doors that were opened that they just didn't walk through. And there is a lot of lazy writing. But there are some things that are good. The show's been on we're at season 5 now. We've been on air 5 seasons. There's got to be something. Um, it's just there are so many things in these criticisms. There are some really bare minimum things in these criticisms that don't reach out to that much nuance that people aren't talking about. So I'm going to talk about it. Marinette's a fucking creep. If the roles were reversed, people would not be about this fucking show. She is she's a creep. She stole his phone. She I'm willing to believe that she didn't wash her jacket. She has pictures of him everywhere. She is around the clock on this one dude that does not notice her for 3 seasons. And when Adrian says all that stuff, oh, she's just a friend who loves fashion and I'm a model and stuff, he means that shit. He that's what he believed. For all of her fucking misstepping, blathering, and literally tripping all over herself, this boy had the blinders on. He had nothing going on up here. And she messed over some really good dudes for Adrian. That Luca and the I just watched the artist one for season 1. Really sweet dudes that genuinely like her. And all for this dude who just come on, girl. Aside from a whole bunch of missed opportunities for nuance, I think that there's just the theme that Ladybug is meant to be a dick to this dude. It's supposed they're playing for all the stuff that they don't do. They're playing on the irony of oh, she's treating this guy that she really likes and can't even talk to in real life like crap. That I think that's supposed to be the thing, and that's what upsets a lot of people. I feel if they applied more nuance to it, hey, this dude doesn't notice her, maybe she should move on. Hey, this girl's obviously not feeling him, maybe he should move on. But it's no, it's the constant. And then it's I saw what people were talking about in later seasons where Adrian gave up his Miraculous, and then when they could have taken it to well, Adrian doesn't he gave up his Miraculous because you treat him like shit. They made it he gave up his Miraculous because he's in love with you and you just don't love him back. And there's okay, in a post Steven universe, post Adventure Time world, you can't talk down to your audience. You can't treat people like shit. It doesn't matter if it's a kid show. Those were also kid shows, and they had something for everyone. A lot of emotional lessons for children, teens, adults alike. There are old people that I don't doubt learned some things about themselves and others if they took the time out to watch some modern day children's cartoons. You're either teaching kids their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s, or you are emotionally and mentally advancing them. Or you can pull a Sesame Street and miraculously pull off both, pun intended. But what's going to make your ship sink is addressing nuance, presenting it, but not fully leaning into it. Like, people get sick of lazy writing, and kids have short attention spans. Like, this show would have definitely done better if they had, like, you don't even have to, I want to say the show would have done better if you geared it towards children, towards young teens and young adults. But, like, really, it could have just been as is. There have been children's shows that have tackled multiple subjects that they've gone into nuance. And it's like, yeah, it's a kid's show. When they activate the cataclysm and the lucky charm, that means the episode's almost over, villain of the day is gone, and all that. And, like, people have these drawn out things about how they don't like how Hawkmoth went on for several seasons. Well, Hawkmoth is a whole villain. They coulda, woulda, shoulda switched up on the main villains through seasons and whatnot. Like, let's get this Hawkmoth shit over with. And, like, people are so in, like, there's nothing wrong with this, of people being so into the big picture, but, like, let's really look at this small shit. Let's really look at how people would not be into this show if Marionette was a dude. How, unless, I mean, gays aside, if it was two dudes, like, people might still be doing this because, like, there's that little gay boy in all of us, right? But, like, it's also, like, you know, the feminine thing of, like, hey, you're gonna get away with this because you're a gay dude, and, like, we're still not gonna perceive you as dangerous. Whereas, like, Adrian kind of has it with Ladybug because he had pictures of her too. We saw him dumping the pictures in he was hiding in his trophy. I'm sure that's a strict parent thing. But, like, I feel so bad for this show because it had so much potential with all of the things that it opened up that it didn't go into. And they worked too hard to make everyone quirky instead of making them multidimensional characters that, like, they genuinely get upset. There are problems that can't be solved. Like, I honestly don't have a problem with the Miraculous ladybugs fixing everything to reverse the damage that enemies and Ladybug also do. And I don't have a problem with, like, this soft reset thing that kind of happens. What I do have a problem with is I can see how somebody would be offended by how they revisit themes that deserve nuance, or they open the door to themes that deserve more nuance, and then just lazy writing shut the door. Like, how many times did Marionette and Adrian, like, fall in love with each other and, like, just to have their memories wiped or some shit? Like, they erased their character development to keep the show going. And it's offensive. So, sorry I don't have some video essay with all this, you know, editing and whatnot. If you stuck around for this, thanks. Because I'm just, it's like, we all know what's wrong with it, but it's like, it seems to just be really hard for people to wrap it up in so few words. Production and all, and copyright and all that aside, because Ladybug has changed a lot of hands in production and licenses and stuff. Like, now Netflix on it. It's still on Netflix if you want to watch it. It's just, like, overall just lazy. It's lazy towards its characters. It's lazy in its writing. It's lazy to its audience. And, like, here Ladybug isn't really a thing that, like, sells toys. So, like, lazy for what? I don't know. Yeah. That's its biggest crime is how lazy it is.